Hey there, thank you for tuning into CMTEQ channel in the second tutorial on short circuit analysis using DIgSILENT PowerFactory. In this tutorial, we're going to look at the second tutorial from our manual calculation here. So this playlist here is about a series of tutorial on fault current calculations. It's on CMTEQ channel. Now in this series of tutorial, we basically use a per unit system analysis to solve the short circuit current on any given network. And while you are here, if you wish to become an expert in solving short circuit analysis problem, this playlist here is where you need to be. Great. Now in this tutorial, we're going to look at problem 2, basically the second tutorial in this list, and we're going to use the all-powerful PowerFactory simulation software to basically get to the bottom of that problem. Now, the PowerFactory software basically use the Newton method, the Newton-Raphson method, which is a very powerful numerical technique that basically try to solve the load flow or the power system flow by going into a series of iteration until it reaches convergence. So we're not going to worry about how it does that in the background. Hopefully there will be a tutorial where we're going to see how to go through that method, some basic mathematics that we can have a look at. But for now, we're going to focus on the simulation part. But if you want to get the correct result, then you also need to feed the software the correct information. So that is why we're going to click in this tutorial here. I'm going to go ahead and skip to minute 6 of this tutorial right here, and I'm going to just pause the tutorial here. Okay, so what we're going to do, basically, this is the information that we need. We need the per unit value of the generator, and we need the per unit value of the transformer, and the information about the line here, so that we can plot these data into DIgSILENT PowerFactory, and hopefully we can get the same result that we were able to get in this tutorial. So before we can do that, I'm just going to read quickly what the problem statement is about here. So we basically need to calculate the primary short circuit current. Okay, so that is on this side here on zone 1. When there is a fault occurring along the line, after 20 kilometers of the line, then there is a fault just before the load. Now in this case here, we're not going to worry about the loads, because basically when there is a fault, your load is totally disconnected. It's not going to get any power, right? So then once that fault occurs, there will be a short circuit current here that's going to be different from the one occurring here, simply because there is a line and there is also a transformer here. Okay, so in order for us to get the same result, so let's just fast forward to the end of this tutorial, see the value that we obtain through the per unit calculations of these short circuit analysis. Okay, so as you can see here, if we can maybe just make it a full screen here, so we basically got a short circuit current of 880 amp, okay, and the short circuit MVA of 10 megavolt ampere. So those are the two values that we are interested, that we need to get at this point here between the generator and the transformer, not the one that we're going to get here. Great. So having said that, let's go ahead and minimize this window. Then we can start working on our PowerFactory software. Great. So according to tutorial 2 parameters, we know that we need a 6.6 kilovolt generator rated at 2000 kilovolt ampere and a 12% per unit value, and a transformer with some line parameters. Great. But in order for us to get this data into DIgSILENT here, we need to pull in some bus bar so that we can do our interconnection. So I'm going to go ahead and pull bus bar 1 and a second bus bar, and I probably need a third bus bar in the system. Great. So now the next thing here is we're going to pull our generator here. So I'm going to basically just pull it in and connect it on bus bar 1 here, and we're gonna choose the first cubic, that is cubic 1. Great. So that is done, and we can go ahead and bring in the 2 winding transformer as well. I'm gonna just place it like this, and connect the secondary side into cubic 1 of my second bus bar and the primary side into cubic 2 of this first bus bar. Great. So the next thing here is to connect the line. So let's go ahead and connect the line on this bus bar, cubic 2, and on the last bus bar here we can also go to cubic 1. That is basically what we need. So that basically complete our circuit here. Now we're not going to connect a load because we don't need a load. We're just going to run a short circuit analysis on this bus bar here. Great, because the first bus bar is where the generator is connected, and we have a transformer here that basically transforming and bringing power to this second bus bar. And from this bus bar we then have a line, okay, a transmission line of 20 kilometer long, and we're going to have our load connected at this point here. But because we're not going to be worried about the load flow analysis, we basically worry about the short circuit analysis at this point here and also at this point here. So we basically interested at what's going to happen at this point here when there is a symmetrical fault occurring at this bus bar here. Now I just want to flip this transformer here. Now in order to do that I need to disconnect the transformer first. So let me disconnect it and then flip it clockwise. Then I can go ahead and connect it again. Okay, and we can connect it again to the first cubic here, and this one can also go on to the second cubic. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to have here. Now we can start basically entering the parameters before we can execute our short circuit analysis. And by the way, if you find this tutorial useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated. I thank you so very much for your support. Great. So before we can start capturing our data here, I just want to rename these bus bars also quickly. Substation bus bar. So I'm going to rename this as BB1. Okay, bus bar 1, something like that. And this one will be bus bar 2, substation BB2. And the last one is going to be bus bar 3. Okay, that's way we know exactly in which bus bar we are connecting every time. Okay, so we've got an external grid here, so that's our generator. Let's go ahead and pass some information here. Now what information do we need to? So we know that this generator must be a slack bus generator, 0 degree as a reference generator with 1 volt per unit, and the short circuit data here. Okay, so that is also important. We know that that generator got an internal per unit value of 12%. So that was 0.12 that we get from the calculation. And we also just need to change the maximum short circuit power that can be drawn from the generator, because we know that our generator is rated at 2000 kVA. So we can put a 2 MVA here, and here we can put a value of 20 MVA, and we can just say okay. Great. Now the next thing is to come to the bus bar here and the basics for the bus bar. Now we just need to change the voltage of the bus bar here. So we're going to change it to 6.6 kilovolt. Now remember, this is a slack bus generator, which means automatically when we change this bus bar to 6.6 kilovolt, that means the generator will also be generating at 6.6 kilovolt. And the next parameters are from the transformer. So let's go ahead and just have a look quickly here. So it is a 1500 kVA transformer with a 4.5% all per unit. But remember, we got a calculation that gave us a per unit value of 0.06. That is very important. So we're going to double click on it and basically create a new type here as well. And when it pops up, the rating is 1.5, so that's 1500 kVA. The frequency is fine. Now the high voltage side of this transformer is a 33 kilovolt, and the low voltage side is a 6.6 kilovolt with the per unit reactance being equal to 0.06 per unit. So that basically all we need there for the transformer, and we can just click OK. Hopefully we're not going to get some errors while compiling. Great. Now the next thing here is this second bus bar. Now this bus bar is on the secondary or on the high voltage high side of the transformer, so we're going to change it to 33 kilovolt. So that's basically all we need there, and we can just say OK and OK. Now we come to the line parameters. Now the line parameters, let's have a look at the line parameters again. It's a resistance of 1.5 ohm per kilometer and a reactance of 0.3 ohm per kilometers. Now we computed that value basically doing the calculations on the tutorial. Now let's see how we can do it here on DIgSILENT. So we're going to create another new type as well. Okay, so the rating of the cable, that's very important. We know that that cable is on the high side of the transformer, which is rated at 33 kilovolt, and the current, that's okay, it's an overhead line. Okay, and what next can we change here? So that's the AC resistance at 20 degrees. So we're going to change this to 1.5 ohm. So it's a 1.5 ohm per kilometer, and the reactance is 0.3 ohm per kilometer. Then we're going to say OK. Then we need to change the number of kilometer there, so that is 20 kilometer. Great. So once we enter the value of 20 kilometer, automatically we see that we're computing exactly the same result that was obtained during the calculation. If we pull up the tutorial data here, we can be able to see that the impedance, the Z actual that was computed, was 30.6 with an angle of 11.31 degree. So that's what we computed manually, and we can see that we're getting also the same value here on DIgSILENT, so which means we are good to go. So we can say okay. Now the last bus bar here, let's go ahead and click on it, and also change here to 33 kilovolts. So that's the one that is supplying to the load here. Okay, so that is basically all we need here. So if we haven't really made some blunder here, this actually should work. Now if we run a load flow, which we can execute a load flow, but remember, you're not going to get any current flowing here because there is no load connected. Okay, we're not interested in that, but you can look at the voltage on your bus bars. That's important. You can see here on this bus bar 1, we got a 6.6 at 1 volt per unit. Here we got 33 at 1 volt per unit, and here we also have 33 at 1 volt per unit. Now this is very important because if you've got loadings, you got current flowing and your load is running, this value, they're not going to be precise as they are right now. So that signal the voltage drop through your transmission line. Great. So now let's go ahead and execute the short circuit analysis at this point here, because now remember, we're going to execute a short circuit fault on bus bar 3, but we are interested on the values of the short circuit here on the primary of the transformer here on the low side of the transformer. That basically means on bus bar 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit the short circuit analysis, and we're going to execute the IEC 6909, and we're going to execute as is, and the result we basically getting here. Okay, at this point here we got SKSS, so that basically means the short circuit MVA of 10.1 megavolt ampere, and IKSS, so that is the steady state short circuit current of 0.883 kilo amp, so that basically 883 kilo amp. And at this point here, the point of the fault, you can see we got also the same value of the short circuit MVA, and the short circuit current is smaller because this is on the high voltage side, and there is more current on the low voltage side of the transformer. Okay, so now here you can see that where the point where the short circuit is occurring, we got IP as well. Here the value of IP is 0. Now the value of IP here is 0.345 kilo amps. So IP is the peak short circuit current. So basically at this point, at the instant where the short circuit current happen, it reaches a peak of 0.345 kilo amps before it stabilize at 0.177 kilo amps. So that's very important, because you need to be able to understand that if you install a protection device at this point here, whether your protection device should break the circuit when it reached that value, or whether your protection device should only break the circuit when it reached the 0.177 kilo amps. So if we compare into the data obtained during the manual or the per unit analysis, we can see that we're getting basically the same short circuit current of 880 amps here, and the short circuit MVA is at 10.06, and here we getting about 10.1. So the values are very close. So DIgSILENT PowerFactory is doing really a great job. It's saving us all the hassle of going into the manual calculations and giving us only the data. But also remember, you still need to feed it the correct informations in terms of your line voltages and your per unit informations of your generators and transformers and so forth. And once all that information is correct, then you are guaranteed to get the correct conversions of your load flow or your short circuit analysis calculation. Thank you guys for watching. So that is it for this tutorial. If you've learned something, please don't forget to give this tutorial a thumbs up, and also subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated. Until next time, cheers.